Well, hello again, everyone. This is me, Nick Michalak, and the awesome Steve Frazier.
Happy Alien Day.
Alien Day. We're releasing our Alien 3 commentary on Alien Day 426. So, guys, hope you're enjoying us on that day. If not in the future, still welcome you here. So, guys, we're doing a commentary today for Alien 3, the special edition cut of the film. Now, hope you guys will have your own copy of the whole thing and follow along with us. If you do, turn your subtitles on, turn your timestamp over to 0, and we'll get synced up with a countdown. So, in 3, 2, 1, play.
I suppose we should mention that some have that introduction thing that
there might be an introduction at the top of the thing,
which ours does not. So
No.
if yours does, pause us for a second and get through that, and then pick us back up.
Yeah.
We're looking at the Fox logo
Yeah.
and the searchlights.
Yeah.
All right, for anyone that is not familiar, can you explain the Alien Day thing?
Well, for the original film, the planet they land on is LV-426. So, marketing demands April 26 in terms of the American way we put dates together is 4/26.
Got it.
So that's all there is.
And it comes from the first movie.
Yes.
Okay.
And technically the second one, too. The same planet for the second film, so. All that type of stuff, so it's just someone just decided to slap it on a calendar, throw a dart at a calendar, and
Sure,
say, okay,
sure.
that works for us.
Got it.
And now it's any franchise-relevant information.
And we pick up here where 2 leaves off with Ripley and Newt.
And Hicks.
Hicks was also in there. Okay.
Yeah. 6 years later.
They've just been
In terms of
floating around for 6 years?
6 years from the release of the previous film.
Oh, I see.
So production history-wise.
And apparently
But this one, apparently, a week or two after the events of the previous film.
Yeah, undetermined.
Yeah. But it's a short window of time.
Well, it's enough time for them to get to another planet.
Right. But in terms of the 57 years from the first to the second one,
Sure.
really minuscule.
I like that they're just giving us a little bit of a glimpse that the alien has been in the ship and apparently wreaking havoc while they're sleeping.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll say, bear in mind, I don't even remember the last time I watched the theatrical version of this one. You've watched both versions.
I have.
Once apiece.
That's correct.
In the last couple of years.
Yeah, which one are we watching today?
This is the special edition. This
Okay.
is the one that was put together, well, for the quadrilogy DVD set. They put together one called the Assembly Cut, which still had a lot of the new footage had like production audio on it. But when they upgraded the Blu-ray, they went further into it and got a lot of the original actors back to re-record a lot of the dialogue. They included Lance Henriksen, Sigourney Weaver, and Charles Dance in the film. So they brought a lot of people back to kind of spruce it up for the HD audio and everything like that to make sure it was as up to snuff as possible. And so this one reinstates a lot of footage that was cut from the theatrical version because there's a mountain of behind-the-scenes stuff on the whole thing. Because again, it was 6 years. They were trying to get one going, but it went through a lot of different hands, a lot of different ideas. And one of our favorite guys, Rennie Harlan, was once attached to it, but he bowed out on the whole thing after a while because it just wasn't going the way they wanted it to. And I think it was mainly the producers, Walter Hill, David Giler, up on screen as screenwriters on this thing as well. Kind of been the guys kind of steering the direction of the franchise here and there, and this is the one that had the most complications with. Because David Fincher doesn't want to talk about this film.
Because he had such a negative experience on it?
Negative experience. He got second-guessed all the way through the whole thing. They were nitpicking every choice he wanted to do.
Now, Fincher at this point
is coming hot off the music video scene.
Right, like he did Madonna's Like a Prayer, correct?
I think he did.
That famous one with the crosses and all the,
I think he also did Like Cheney's Got a Gun for Aerosmith, a lot of real high production value stuff.
Yeah.
The visual quality of what he was putting out was really catching eyes.
Double Y chromosome, meaning men only.
Yeah. So.
I think that's what that means.
I think that is, yeah. So it's Fincher's directorial debut. So unlike a Ridley Scott, who's a bit of a force of nature, or he had a couple, like, really also came from the marketing background.
That looked bad, by the way.
There's a lot of visual effects in the film that are a little. It's in that transition point between the optical effects and the digital stuff,
Right.
And some of it doesn't quite hold up terribly well.
Like, this doesn't look bad, the actual set that they're on now. But...
Well, a lot of the production design and the cinematography was done by Alex Thompson, who had shot a lot of... He'd worked with Ridley Scott before on Legend, which I've never seen the film, but I've seen enough clips to know that it looks like a fucking gorgeous, like a cinematographer's reel of a film type of thing.
Sure.
So it looks absolutely stunning. And he's a great cinematographer. He also shot Cliffhanger later on. But, so... Like Ridley Scott came from a marketing background, 2000 commercials shot before he shot a feature film, stuff like that. So it's a similar kind of thing up with Fincher and the whole thing, but Ridley already done like the Duelist beforehand, so he had a feature film in his back pocket, and he was really such a force of nature, always.
Right.
It's like once he gets on the thing, he's a creative flow always going on the whole thing, and he's just got this. Because when he goes on Alien's not an established thing. It's something they're building primordially from the ground up. But Fincher's coming on here, now it's a franchise. They want to make sure it continues as a franchise, so there's a lot more oversight of the whole thing.
Right, because not only do you have Force of Nature Ridley, then it's taken over by Jim Cameron.
Right,
who's a bigger force of bigger nature.
Yes.
In ways.
And James Cameron's the one who makes it a franchise. Okay, we can do more with this thing. We can take it in different directions, take on different ideas. And so, Fincher's stuck in a bad situation, the whole thing. Okay, he's a guy with no...
Oh, God, with the bugs.
Yeah. But Fincher's a guy who's like, at this point, he doesn't have clout.
Right.
So he can't override anyone, can't veto anything. So he's stuck under the thumb of the studio, producers, whoever else has got a creative control of the whole thing. So... You can see Fincher's eye in the whole film as we go along. He is one of the most visual directors out there. But as we know much later on in Fincher's career, he's kind of a perfectionist type of guy. He does things very precisely of exactly how he wants to get it done. And so he almost never talks about this film because it's just something he just doesn't want to recollect on. It's not like a thing that feels entirely of his creative satisfaction.
And that makes sense, but at the same time...
Right.
Like, I don't know. Just embrace it.
Yeah. But in terms of...
Like, I don't know if Jim Cameron likes to talk about Piranha 2.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't consider that his first film. He considers The Terminator his first film. Because that's his first thing where he's actually... He's not a director for hire. That's his own vision.
Right.
So... particular things. But in terms of the theatrical cut, which took pretty much the producers took control of and hacked out subplots and various other things, this is much more... This is just reinstating a lot of things, because I was listening to a podcast interview for the guy who produced all the stuff for the quadrilogy box set, the anthology Blu-ray set, all that type of stuff, all the documentaries, everything. Charles de Lauzarica, he was talking about the fact that he was going into this thing, he's not doing a fan edit. He's going back to historical records of editor Terry Rawlings and all these other people, kind of like shot lists and all the different things, storyboards, whatever the hell it is, to reconstruct what the original intention for the film was before it kind of got chopped up. So there's almost like half an hour footage reinstated in this version, versus certainly other things that kind of get trimmed out here and there. So it's as close to what maybe Fincher intended, but we would never really know that for certain.
Right, because he won't talk about it.
Just doesn't want to be involved. And they did approach him numerous times, but it was like his attitude just was not like he just doesn't want to address the situation that was involved in the whole thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, at some point you become so big that you don't want to bury people just to bury them.
Right.
You know, because it could hurt his own brand.
Right. I mean, it was interesting because on the DVD version, which is about 04, the original documentary got a bunch of stuff chopped out of it because certain people at Fox...
See, that looks
again,
terrible.
That's not a great shot. That's a good shot. But back in the early 2000s, someone at Fox was very skittish, and so they cut a bunch of more dicey things from the documentary on the film, but when they went up to Blu-ray, that guy's no longer in the company, so they reinstated a whole bunch of the other stuff that was a little bit more revealing about different perspectives on what happened during the production.
And I find it slightly offensive that they've just, through a stroke of a key, said, oh, Hicks is dead, Newt is dead.
That was the big uproar. Everyone hated that in 92.
And oh, they're just, we don't even see them. They're just dead.
Yeah, Michael Biehn was not happy about it at all.
Well, I imagine
but
not.
But oddly enough, because they end up using his image on like a monitor screen or whatnot to just denote him or whatnot, he got paid a whole bunch of royalties just for that. But he kind of said, jokingly in a retrospective sense, like if you knew who Fincher was, he would have done things more for free for him or whatnot to kind of a favor or whatnot to pay back, put me in one of your movies or something. But
so I already like, I remember when I watched this the first time, because I went in completely blind.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Blind. I had no idea what the plot was or anything.
Yeah.
And now we're on this
prison planet,
and you're like, oh, really? Like, I already have a negative sensibility.
It's an interesting thing, at least with the first 4 films of the franchise. They're such kind of auteur-driven films, because enough of them are not Aliens, Alien 3, and Resurrection. They have nothing in common in terms of execution, visual style, approach to the story. They're all very
even
specifically different films. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're almost as different as, like Halloween 4 to Halloween Resurrection
and whatnot. Or,
and then the Rob Zombie.
Right.
And you're like, oh, these are all the same.
Like Dream Master, Dream Child, Freddy's Dead. These are all part of the same franchise.
Right. We don't have that problem with the chainsaws because they keep remaking the same movie over and over and over again. There's a new one coming, by the way. I don't know if you saw that.
There's nothing original. Yeah, I heard about it.
We might come back to those, by the way.
Yeah, we got a few more to catch up on. They're just right. We're not terribly excited to get to them, but we'll get to them. Kind of lazy on that regard.
A little bit. We've got an interesting idea with this woman dropping into this all-male
there's interesting
facility.
Ideas in the film.
But, I don't know, that's thin.
Yeah. I'll say, I like the film. But it is a certain thing that it's not one of those, it's not like some of the other films of the franchise where you can just throw it on whenever you have just an inkling of an idea that kind of revisits, like, it's kind of a mood film overall. You have to be in a certain somber state to really kind of absorb the film.
Yeah, I don't...
I like the tone in terms of, like, being the end of what would, at the time, consider the end of a trilogy type of thing. Whereas a little bit more, I don't know, reflective to a certain... We'll get more into it as we get along. There's a certain tone that has something that feels...
Yeah, but, like, imagine if Freddy's Revenge 2 was the last one of a trilogy.
Right.
You're like, wait, what?
Right.
Like, this one feels so less than already. Like, 10 minutes in.
Sure.
And you're like, oh.
In terms of because, the marketing on this thing was just, they had a teaser trailer out before they had a script finished.
Well, all right.
Promising the film would take place on Earth. Because the tagline was, on Earth, everyone can hear you scream. Despite the fact that Earth has nothing to do with the entire film.
Right. I feel like I remember that tagline,
Yeah. It was a good teaser, but the fact that it has piss all to do with the film itself is just showing how much they were just slapping things against the wall and scrambling. One of those films, like, they set a release date before they have a script finished. Which is the worst thing. You don't do that.
It's very Halloween-ish.
Right.
Halloween 5.
Again.
Nightmare 5.
Dream Child, yeah, all that type of stuff. Just race to the end before you even know what the hell where you're even going.
You know, it's not like South Park or Saturday Night Live or one of those where, like, you only have 7 days to get it done.
Right.
But there's a formula and a crew
that have been doing it. There's a template you can lay it in.
Right, over and over and over. Right.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's...
Here we go. Yeah, they poured almost $60 million into this film, which I think Aliens only cost about, like, about 25, less than $30 million. Because also that includes all the production, the developmental costs. When you're bringing this director and that writer and that writer, we're developing this, then we throw that away. Those are still all those people are still getting paid, so it rolls into the cost you have to recoup at the end of the day.
This is so offensive that they would just, get out the eraser and just, nope, goodbye.
I get it. I mean, I didn't see any of these films until, like, the DVD age, so it's like I'm just, like, probably watching one after another and not as invested in them as I would be later on. So I never really had that kind of, like, guts pulled out of me type of thing. But I understand it. I'm trying to find some kind of allegory to the whole thing that would be. I mean, it's almost like, keep circling around, Dream Master. You kill Kincaid and Joey and everything like that at the beginning, but at least that fed into the story. At least you had those characters in the story for a bit.
Right.
This is not even them in the story. They die in between films.
Right. Like, we're starting off with, they're dead, get over it.
Yeah, so at least like Dream Master, they at least use it to an effect of the storytelling narrative. Here,
it's the bridge between that cast and this cast. Right,
that works well. This is just, we don't even want to pay anyone to come back. Which I'm not even sure I don't know exactly what the impetus of the idea was, that they just wanted to clean the slate and just rip all the stuff, all the connections from the previous film away and just do your own thing.
Now, I saw that Sigourney Weaver had some sort of credit at the beginning. Now, it could have just been executive producer, which is basically nothing.
Yeah.
But if she was some sort of, like, they didn't even show the actress there, the girl.
Oh, no. No.
And of course, oh boy, there went on to be...
Sigourney got co-producer credit.
Co-producer. So, like, she's got a stake in it.
Yeah.
I wonder what her relationship with David Fincher is.
As far as I know, it was pretty nice. I mean, everything I've heard about Sigourney, she's wonderful. I feel, from my memory of what I've heard, which would be faulty.
Could be.
But from memory of what I've heard, that Sigourney was very much supportive of Fincher, but obviously she couldn't override everyone on the entire production to force him to do everything that he wanted. So it was she would still have to write a line to a degree, but she is the star of the franchise. She is the franchise. James Cameron knew that. Because, like, we want you to write a version of this thing without Ripley. It's like, I'm not doing it.
Well, no, why would you?
Why would you? Yeah, I mean...
Now...
And after that film gets her a Best Actress nomination at the Academy Awards, she is worth the money. She's going to get paid a lot of money for this stuff.
Right, like, that was... The Oscar nom means we can't do it again without her.
Right, no way, chance,
like,
no.
I feel like you could have done this
That would be egg on your face if you did it.
Right.
You'd look really awful. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
Because then you just look like a bunch of cheapskates. So. But yeah, so. Yeah, everything I heard about Sigourney, she's just a really wonderful person. It's like, she's a star, but she's not egotistical. She doesn't have it bloat her head or whatnot. She's very much...
Good eye.
Oh, yeah, the
there
little
as well.
contact, whatever the hell they're doing with it. Yeah, just to give
to
that
make the
bruising,
bloodshot.
Yeah. It's all consistent with the bruising on the left side of the face. So it's nicely done.
I was going to say, oh boy, here goes on to star in Game of Thrones.
And Charles Dance, yeah, Dance is a wonderful actor. And I've seen him act in some real dog shit, like Dracula Untold. Terrible movie. He's good in it.
Is that the third Dracula?
No, that's that Luke Evans one that tried to reboot the precursor to the Dark Universe crap. Bad movie. He's good in it. He's in like 2 of the Underworld sequels. Not very good sequels. He's good in it. He's in The Golden Child, which we discussed not long ago with the Big Trouble in Little China stuff. And
yeah,
it's a problematic film, but he's pretty damn good in it. He's excellent at Lance action. He's always great.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the guy's like, well, the quality is, I'm up here all the time, so.
And see, this is one of those plot things that just drives me nuts. Where she has every ability here to just say, let me tell you what happened.
Right.
Here's why I think what I think, because here's what happened to me. And then she's not doing that.
Sure.
So we're going to do a dance, and we're going to watch her react to the kid getting cut up. Okay.
And the thing is, he's clever enough to know, like, there's a lot more here that you are not telling me. And he's selling that in his performance. Okay. You want me to do an examination? I'll do an examination. If something comes up along the way, then we'll get the truth out of you and figure out exactly what the hell is going on here. If there's nothing here, then there's nothing to worry about.
Right. He's got that.
Yeah. You ready?
I will play along with you.
Are you ready to tell me what's going on now? I mean, I can kind of get it. I mean, maybe not so much with Clemens here.
There you go. There's your line.
Yeah. I can get it more with maybe like a higher up, like the warden or whatnot. Because she has this, the entire thing just went down with Burke. With the company and everything like that. And they're very duplicitous and they all got ulterior motives about the alien, stuff like that. I can understand her not want to raise more of those sorts of obstacles in her way and more people throwing that stuff up in front of her. But it would be, as we go along in the film, it would be nice if we got to a point where she did confide in someone like Clemens here to tell him what's happened, what could be the danger going on until...
Well, doesn't she sleep with him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I thought that...
But until the actual alien shows up and starts attacking people, she doesn't say word one to anyone, as far as I can recall.
And at this point, does she doesn't know that it's inside of her?
She doesn't know anything for certain.
Okay.
She thinks because dude's dead, maybe it had one in her. Or whatnot. But she doesn't know that one's inside of her right now. No.
Okay.
It's all just fears, paranoia, supposition.
Yeah, we know how that turns out.
That was the first film too, and
right, because I brought that up during there about the quarantine and the protocols and how all we had to do was just let it in, and now you could have ruined the whole ship.
Yeah.
Because I want to say, when did we put out that first Alien commentary?
21.
Okay, so it was fresh. It was like in the middle of COVID
21 or
time.
22 or something like that. Yeah, it was pretty
relevant.
hot off the tails of it.
There's a lot of close-ups in this movie that I feel like are unnecessary. Like, it's not like... we talked about Jackie Brown and
and
how the close-ups were so well crafted.
Mm-hmm.
like, this doesn't feel like the same kind of movie.
No.
And I don't... maybe it's for dramatic emphasis, but, like, the warden, I think that was the warden, right? The chubby guy there?
Yeah. He actually just passed away, Brian Glover, I think it was.
Oh, really?
Just very, very recently.
Like, we didn't need every shot of him to be close, a face shot. You know what I mean?
Probably not, no. I can understand that maybe because they're whispering, it might make it feel intimate to a degree, but that's not really the context. Yeah, I think like this scene, they had to redub some of the dialogue for the Blu-ray version here. Because before it was really just kind of raw production audio on the DVD.
Now, this is one of the things that is a difference between...
Yes.
And when I watched...
Because that was one of the things I asked you the first time. It's like,
yes.
Okay, which one did
which
it have?
Version did I see?
The dog or the ox? And you said the dog the first time you watched it.
That's correct. And I had no idea because I felt like, well, if I'm going to watch one, I'm going to watch the one that everyone saw in the theater.
Sure, yeah.
And that was my very first time ever watching
the chronology of context, yeah.
Like, I've seen 1 and 2 numerous times.
Yeah.
And I never had any interest in going further. And it was around the time that we recorded Alien 1 that I watched Alien 3 for the first time.
Theatrical cut, then...
And
you borrowed my set for the special edition we're watching.
Right. And I said, all right, well, let me watch this thing. And I remember that I messaged you, and I was like, that was weird, and kind of, and you said, well, which one did I watch? And I was like, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I didn't know that...
you watched it off of streaming somewhere, yeah.
I said, I don't know. I didn't know there was more than one option.
Yeah, so that's why I said,
and then,
did it get birth from a dog or an ox? And that's the easy shorthand.
Right, and I didn't realize that there were different versions. So I watched the one where the alien thing came out of a dog.
Yeah.
Which you indicated to me was not the preferred method. And I was like, oh, you mean I got to sit through that again and watch the other one? And it was a couple years later that I borrowed this very disc. And, God, when was it? Earlier this year? January-ish?
Yeah, in the last couple months.
And I said, you know what? I just want to revisit the other one, or finally watch the other one and revisit the movie to see... You know, especially if this is the one we're going to cover.
Yeah.
Now, can you... now, I watched this version more recently, and we're watching it right now. Can you remind me and everyone else listening how they were able to recut it so that there was a dog involved and all of this just was removed?
Well, I don't know specifics. I just know that...
Like, I don't remember how the dog came about.
They designed the actual xenomorph for the dog thing because it moves much more like a dog. So I don't know what exactly the idea was behind the ox thing, because also, a few minutes ago, they showed like a supersized face hugger.
Yeah.
But
it looked dead.
Yeah, that was dead. And also this thing's dead, so it's birthing from a dead animal, which... Typically, what you conjecture is the fact that the thing incubates inside of a warm body and then bursts out once it's fully ready.
Right.
Well, the ox would be dead cold by now, especially being out in that horrible weather and everything, and by the seaside and everything. So it seems like an odd choice in that regard. A lot of people do kind of prefer the dog thing because it makes more sense, because the dog's still alive when the thing bursts.
Right. And this feels, to your point, like there's a logistical...
Right.
Logical, not logistical. Logical deficit.
Yeah. And this starts kind of the thing where people believe that, however, what the heck it is, that the embryo inside of them kind of takes on, like, DNA of the host. So it takes on, like, the ones you saw in the first two films are a bit different than this one. This one's more like a quadruped to a certain degree. where it kind of runs on all fours and has much more of like a dog movement or whatnot about itself, instead of the first ones where it was a little bit more humanoid. So as things go along, like comic books and stuff like that, things like, okay, even like the Alien vs. Predator stuff, if it incubates of a predator, it takes on elements of a predator and stuff like that. So that's the thing that's kind of going on with lore from here on out. So for some reason, they shot it both ways.
Where is this happening in relation to where they're at? Another room?
Yeah.
Right, like it's walking on all fours.
This is a new effect. This is an actual digital effect shot they did for this version.
It running away like a dog?
Because the odd thing is, one thing they actually tried to do is put a suit on a dog, which did not work.
Okay.
Once they threw it, I was like, this ain't going to work.
Okay, but my question is, have we even seen a dog yet? No. As a character in this movie?
There's no dog in this version. Unless it was when they're dragging the EEV and getting her out of the entire thing from the shoreline.
Okay, so where does the dog come from in the theatrical?
I don't know. Maybe it's in alternate footage that we don't have in this version.
Right, but I mean,
don't know for certain.
Logically, who would have the dog?
Right.
Is there a dog living at this prison?
That would be the conjecture.
Yeah, I guess.
But in this version, they showed the entire thing of the ox is pulling the EEV from the shoreline, so that fits into the idea of the whole thing. But
well, I guess that's why I was confused, because when I watched this version, there was no dog. Like they eliminated all dog from the conversation. It's almost like the Rocky IV recut, right?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
I'm aware, but the robot...
Yeah.
The robot gets cut all around.
Yeah, it's almost non-existent. Yeah.
That's apparently getting a theatrical re-release this year.
I gotta go.
40th.
The original or the other cut?
The director's cut.
Okay. Oh, yeah. The bad one.
The botched up cut.
Yeah. We may come around and watch some of those Rockies with you guys.
We've been dancing around the idea.
Let's see.
Another complaint people has, like, okay, you got a bunch of, like, bold, white, British guys with accents, like, everyone just kind of, a lot of the cast just blends into one another. They're all wearing the same outfits.
Well, okay.
Aesthetically, some things just didn't connect with people, and it made it easy for people to criticize the film. I mean, Dutton's great.
Sure. The accent thing bothers me.
They shot it in the UK, I believe. Yeah, so
and that was the
local follows.
There was a problem I had, and I was going to save this, but in case we never ever watched Ghosts of Mars with you, which I watched recently for the first time, Jason Statham is a character in the movie.
Yeah.
And the movie is set in the future on another planet.
Yeah.
And here is a main character with a British accent. And I want to know, was he born on Mars with a British accent? Or did he move there? Like that kind of thing. So nobody on this movie should have an accent, right? Because...
Or they all should have the same accent.
Or they should have, right. One of the two. And then what did they do to her? They dressed her and cut her hair to make her look just like one of the men.
Well, also because there's a lice problem, so that's why they all shaved.
Right, because did you get a look at that ox? That was gross.
Yeah, ugly.
That was gross AF.
Grotesque.
And I'm not talking about the alien bursting out of it. I'm talking about all the creepy crawlers.
Yeah. Yuck.
Why would everybody be rude to her? She is so, like, badass.
Oh, yeah. She's not fazed by anything. She's, after the shit she's been through throughout the fucking space.
Right.
No. And the guy next to her, that's Holt McCallany. That's Sam Whitemoon from Creepshow 2. With the little tear thing on his eye. That guy.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's the same guy. See what I mean? How they bronzed him up in the other film?
Yeah, and getting that beautiful hair.
Oh, yeah.
And this guy is somebody,
Pete
too.
Postlethwaite,
Yeah.
Usual Suspects,
right,
everything.
Right.
Jurassic Park 2. He's also great. He's not a guy who's like... he was consistently great in everything he was doing. And he passed away...
Recently.
Several years ago. Many years ago.
Is it many now? It feels recent, but all right.
It was a time ago.
Was it before COVID? I feel like it wasn't, but I could be wrong.
2011, he passed away.
Get out of here!
Yeah, I thought it was that far back. Wild. I mean, God, he was so good.
I can't believe that's old Sam Whitemoon or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
That's hilarious to me.
He's one of the few actors from this thing that kept working with Fincher afterwards, too.
I just watched my 4K of 7 recently.
Okay.
In the last couple weeks.
Okay.
Damn, it's good. What a good movie.
Talking about perfectionist, he did a lot of digital tweakery about things in the film, too.
Yeah, I don't care about it.
I know. I'm just saying. He's a little on that edge.
He's a futzer.
He's a futzer. Not as bad as Cameron.
No, Cameron futzes too much.
Too much.
He's gonna futz with Titanic and make it float.
It's gonna be a holographic.
Right. I don't like the coloring on this movie either. It's all just the same. I think it's this drab green, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean...
like grayish, greenish. Their outfits match the walls, match the...
It's very monochromatic, yes.
Yeah, like, ugh.
Because, I mean, it's interesting because you start looking at just the next couple of films Fincher makes are much different. Not entirely different color palette, but there's, like, you look at 7... there's a lot more depth to the color and everything. It's a lot richer textures and everything in the whole thing.
Well, there's also more than one location.
Right.
You know, the production design on 7 should have won 2 Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
That's not doing anything, by the way.
Probably not.
Oh, with the bugs. Can we stop with the bugs?
Bugs.
Jesus Christ. Why would you pick it up?
Yeah.
Why?
At least he's got gloves on. Now he's going to have to wash the gloves.
I can't even tell what it is.
He's going to have to wash the gloves now.
Well, right, like Bateman in
Yeah.
American Psycho. I still want to know what happened to that Lewis guy. He just never came back. What a plot hole. I don't know why you would stick your head all the way down in the hole, and then you fall down into the fan, and you go blendy blendy. And conveniently, he saw the bad thing and then died right away, so he couldn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
But also, There's no nobody really that's been killed by the alien at this point.
Yeah.
Is it really that far-fetched to think that he is also a prisoner?
Yeah, I mean, what doctor would say, I want to go, this is the station I want. The fucking ass end of space. The freaking penal colony has been forgotten. Like, it ain't no career advancement here.
See, that's just rude. He's so good.
Oh yeah, he's so good, the film, that it's detrimental to when he gets killed.
There's also not a lot of action here.
Yeah,
like, this is a slow burn.
Yeah, I mean, it is so much the thing. I mean, I've seen the trailers, the TV spots enough times. Like, it was selling it on the tension, the thrills, the propulsiveness of the action sequences. Those don't happen for like another 45 minutes, maybe.
Yeah. We're already 42 minutes in.
Yeah.
There's, according to maybe it's not quite
40 minutes at least. We're about a third of the way into the film.
Ugh. And how many people have been killed by the alien? 0. Right?
By happenstance, the guy got killed because he encountered the alien, but not directly because the alien killed him.
Right. How do you know? He was a wanker. That's not a very common insult anymore. Like, even the warden doesn't dress any differently than anybody else.
Sure.
I don't know. It just...
The aesthetics are...
Like, these weird angles on the... And everything looks the same. Nothing is happening. It's like, I'm getting antsy. You know?
Well, that's
like,
why I said earlier, it's one of those films, I like it, but it's like, I can't just throw it on whenever. I gotta be in a mood to watch it, to get something out of it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be, about it. You gotta have to have that appetite to watch it. Like Aliens, you can throw on whenever. It's always gonna spike you or something.
Either of the first two movies, they're different.
Yeah,
and they're different moods, but they're both.
The first film is best when you are gonna sink in and just like put on the surround sound, get it into the mood and whatnot. Aliens, you can just throw it on and just be doing whatever with it and just still get something out of it, get a charge from it. I mean, even Resurrection, as bad as it is, you can throw it on the background, pop in every few minutes, get a jolt of action, and move on with your shit. This one's a immersive, immersive mood piece film, really.
Uh-oh. Like, we can't even settle for not having a close-up here. We need a close-up on both of them. You know what I mean?
This could easily be pulled back a little bit more to have a... Because even he looks a little bit out of focus.
Right. A lot of bit out of focus.
Yeah, this could be pulled back about 15-20% to get a little bit better context of the scene. I mean, some of that might contribute to the fact that, I mean, there's tensions on set and things are being second-guessed and maybe not having as much time as you want to kind of finesse how you want to produce the film.
I don't know how I feel about everything being a low angle like that. Like, I feel like all of it is shot from below. And it's like, why? See? Like,
yeah.
Why are we always on the floor? Like, why is this shot from below?
I mean, usually, if you want to do a low-angle shot, there's usually some sort of context for it.
Point of view of somebody or whatever.
Or trying to give, like, someone a dominance over someone else in the scene.
Right.
Like if you're doing the warden from a low angle, but maybe Clemens from more of like a high angle to kind of like
show that
bearing down upon him. But if you're doing it all kind of low angle, it doesn't
like
really...
he's kind of straight on. He's underneath.
Yeah. It's not quite giving as much of a visual... Having the choice of angles inform the scene. It's not really doing it, it's just doing that. Here's the way we can cover it. And they're just choosing to cover it that way.
It almost feels like it's trying to be artsy for art's sake.
Yeah. Because even then, something you could keep this low angle, but maybe do like an over the shoulder of the warden and kind of cut up the frame so Clemens looks smaller than the whole thing. Try to play with the visual language a little bit to kind of inform the relationships. I mean, this is fine blocking here. Because you're keeping him in focus.
Right.
As the tension of the scene creeps up on him.
But again, now we're back to down low.
Yeah.
Drink your coffee, sir.
But this works now because he's looming over him.
Right.
So that functions.
Yeah, but it's the boy who cried wolf. Like, it doesn't mean anything because they were all that way.
Yeah. If you suddenly move it that way, and then it has more impact on the audience.
Like, I don't... Like, he's straight on.
Right.
And he's always... Which, I guess, to your point, is trying to be intimidating.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't look he looks like a prisoner.
Right.
I mean... There's nothing that screams, I'm the warden. He's not wearing anything warden-y.
Yeah, there's not a uniform or some kind of thing to distinguish class or roles between
Look,
people.
He looks like even
just as dingy as everyone else.
Even
Clemens
has the jacket on.
Yeah.
That's like the uniform or whatever.
But
But like, why is this shot from on the cameraman's knees?
Mm-hmm.
And this shot. You know what I mean? Like, it's... Once you notice it, it's like...
If you keep using the same trick over and over again, then it doesn't really mean anything. It's just commonplace. Shot selection does have an impact in how you tell the story.
which we also talked about in our Jackie Brown commentary, because it is done to fucking perfection.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a hand. That's got to be Lance Henriksen.
Yeah, Bishop.
Hello, old friend.
Yeah.
How would you even go about putting it back together? You can't, right?
No.
Like, you just can't. And what, they just threw him in the scrap heap with Johnny Five there?
Johnny Five.
I think is what that was. It certainly wasn't Wally, but it kind of looked like Johnny Five. Or
yeah.
I wish we could go back and rewind and pause that.
You never know. I mean, you gotta fill the junk somehow.
Now, what else did he do with Fincher?
No. I think he was in Mindhunters, the Netflix show he did.
God damn it, what a great show. And we all got screwed because that was one of those where...
Oh, yeah. They pulled
just
the plug on it.
Yeah, and they just left us holding our dicks.
There you go. Oh, he's in Fight Club as well. And...
Okay, here's a hot take. I can't stand Fight Club.
I never bothered to see it.
Oh, girl, get your shot in. This prison has a cigarette machine.
Well, the luxuries of the galaxy.
On level 5A, whatever that means. Does that mean 5 underground or 5 up? Probably under. How many... All right, we're now over 50 minutes in. How many scenes have had the alien?
Very few.
The original Ox and Old Boy in the Shaft.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's all we've had, yeah.
50 minutes, we have 2 scenes with an alien.
I mean, not dissimilar from the first film. It's a slow burn build up the whole thing. But I do get your thing about sequel.
Right.
People expect more from a sequel. They expect the quota and everything.
Well, I don't even care about quota, but
yeah.
How about you give me a story that progresses
the narrative of the alien?
Right, yes.
Because, I mean, we've had Ripley concerned about maybe Newt having one in there, but that's been cleared. And so there's no other suspicion and everything, so it's this reflective drama about Ripley herself, but she's not going into detail about what she's been through yet. So it's all kind of a holding pattern situation.
Right, like, I would even be fine if she's been, like, is gone, Laurie Strode 2018, where she's just paranoid and
sure.
And I'm crazy because of all the shit I've been through, and I am so afraid that there's going to be aliens everywhere, and the perspective being we need to quarantine this lady or calm her down or whatever.
Surely. I mean,
there's a lot of ways you could go about this and have it be exciting.
Yeah.
And thus far, it is not.
It's also a thing that there's a lot of the supporting players who don't really they're not made distinctive in the cast.
Oh, there we go. Right, like you don't It's hard to distinguish one from the other.
I'm like, I don't even remember the black guy with the cross tattoo on his forehead before last time I saw this. I don't have any memory of this guy in the film whatsoever.
Right,
he's not really a character, he's just there.
Right, he might have been in the lunchroom, or he might have been somewhere. Wouldn't they have built these tunnels with a few more safeguards regarding those fans? I could see, from this point on, you have a little bit more options as far as clipping out to make a trailer with exciting things.
Right, yeah, chases and screaming and...
What's the overall runtime on this?
This cut... It is over 2 hours. Give me a minute. Well, the theatrical is 154. No, for this version, I think it's close to 220, I think.
I mean, that looks good, too, where, the guy's got the blood on his face.
So this version is 2 hours 18.
Okay. Now, don't tell me that you're going to go and get it pulled back together.
Well, not entirely. She's advocating for information, essentially.
There is no way that you can make that thing work again. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've ever had a computer, but if it's dead, you can't just stick a wire or two in it and all of a sudden it works again. You can't rip the guts out of it and then hook up, put a dirt in the side of it, turn on the electricity. Breakfast cereal. That guy looks like the warden.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God.
It's so hard when you have to have a bunch of guys who just are all shaved completely bald. And they're not a bunch of different body types or different ethnicities or something else like that. One black guy, the rest of them are all white guys. There's not enough physical diversity to really kind of separate them apart. In regards to anything else, I mean, this is a fabulous piece of animatronic work they did here.
Sure, yeah, it's beautiful.
And it's all done through Studio 80i, who did come up through Stan Winston, but then established their own studio. So it's Alec Gillis and Tom Woodruff Jr. Woodruff Jr. actually is in the alien costume in these films going forward. Whenever they work on the film, he's portraying the monster.
And of course, Henriksen gets a payday.
Yeah, and he shows up as a different character at the end of the film as well.
Ugh.
Here's the things Lance will work on pretty much anything.
Yeah, he's great. I hurt. That's
at least something along the lines of what you're saying.
Yeah, I suppose.
They could maybe cobble something together, but why would they even bother with the effort? best they do is probably download his data banks and just store it on a disk somewhere. Now, the interesting thing with this guy, I think his name is Paul McGann, portraying Golic here. In this scene, he's got a particular accent, but then later on in the production, they told him to kill the accent, so there's an inconsistency with his performance. In later scenes, he doesn't have the accent.
Which guy? The guy in the hospital bed?
In the bed, yeah, went all crazy and everything.
And he's the one that witnessed his partner get sucked up by the alien. Okay. And so the assumption is that another prisoner has been going on a murder spree?
That's what they're believing. I mean, they got 2 dead bodies. They got no other line of thought to adopt to it. You know, Clemens is looking right at her. It's like, oh, you know what the hell is going on here, don't you?
And why was that a shot from underneath? Yes, all of these things are true. We'll all just wait around.
Belabored, yeah.
We'll wait around for you to catch up.
That's one of those things that happens in a lot of different sequels. I think we got into like some of the Final Destination films. Like, it got to a point where someone's got to reiterate the lore because it's all new characters learning the same stuff that the audience already knows about. Yeah. So it's a little worn thin on the audience. So what the hell would they know about anything that's been going on with this whole shit?
Right, they wouldn't.
We have no time to tell them jack crap out here.
I believe you called it the ass end of space.
The ass end of space, yeah. She uses that same terminology later on. I believe,
okay.
So.
It's almost like
the focus went off on that shot when she sat down, too.
I'm so bothered by these low angles. It's really irking me.
Yeah, from your perspective, it's the whole thing like they're trying to make everything look dramatic. But if you make everything look dramatic, then it all just looks the same.
Then nothing is dramatic.
Nothing's dramatic. It's just the way everything looks.
Like, why? Why are we sitting on the floor here?
This easily could have been from any other angle telling the same story. Yeah, it's interesting. It's a big old mug, ain't it?
Yeah. Yeah, those camper mugs, I think, is what they're called.
Yeah.
Good line. Uncharitable is a good way to put it. Oh yeah, that's because you got a baby.
Uh-huh.
Which doesn't really jive with how the alien has worked in the previous films. You know, like usually the host is incapacitated in some way.
Well, this all stems from the whole thing of like there's been required to have so much fan speculation how the egg even got aboard the ship in the first place. Because the alien's only ever inside the actual, like, landing gear of the entire thing. She never gets inside the guts of the actual dropship.
Right.
Let alone how it would get from the dropship into the actual pods when the thing gets ejected from the Sulaco. There's no explanation for it. It's just there because they need it for the contrivance of the plot.
Right, right. So we're going to start by killing characters off screen. And here's some selective, creative jiving around to get the alien on board.
Right.
Which is really just, here's the new facts, accept them.
Mm-hmm.
And all of us are over here in the Kathy Bates role yelling, he didn't get out of the cock-a-doodle car.
Because a lot of this entire thing of the prisoners going to religion and stuff like that, that was built off a previous iteration and everything where she would land on this planet of monks. Oddly enough, it was something called a wooden planet. I don't know how this thing would function at all. This is kind of pie-in-the-sky stuff. A planet built out of wood. I don't know how that functions. Where's the atmosphere? Where's the gravity well? I don't know. It's supposed to be like this colony of monks who go out there to kind of separate themselves entirely from technology in the modern world and everything like that. It's not entirely a concept that feels like it functions on that level. If they just plot themselves on a regular planet or moon or whatnot as a colony, that's fine. But put on a wooden planet, I don't understand this concept at all.
Is that like they built a space station and then just kept building until it was planet-sized?
Suppose, I don't know.
That's a pretty big space station.
There's a lot of that in science fiction. But won't get that far.
Like, you have to be pretty big to be considered a planet. So you're telling me that this whole prison, the prison is the only thing on the whole planet?
This thing, yeah.
That's what you're selling me?
Well, what they tell you, because they got all these weird corridors and stuff like that, it was a metalworks, like a steelworks facility that they used for mining ore or whatever it is, and they just abandoned it and just made it into a penal colony.
Can you imagine?
I mean, there's a lot of money to dump into something you're just going to abandon all over the place.
Could you imagine if, for example, the Amazon distribution center, that is a giant facility down the road, was the only building on planet Earth? That's what we're dealing with here.
Yeah. Criminy's sake, I don't know. It's an awful planet as it is. Why would you build anything on it?
It doesn't look good.
Nicely shot tension, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Although it's all close-up, which is fine, I guess.
Because as you've been going on, so if you do 5,000 close-ups, then what the hell does any of them mean anymore?
Right. And
then he's off at the midpoint.
And that doesn't look great, but this does. And this here's your poster shot.
Yeah,
right?
this was the shot. This is in every single trailer, every TV spot, posters made, newspaper ads, everything.
And it's a killer shot. Now there's a close-up, right? Now, I have another question.
Surely.
We are to believe that the alien did not harm her because of the baby inside.
Right, but she doesn't know that yet.
And I am curious, how would that particular alien that was birthed from an ox know about the baby that was inside of her?
Right.
And where is the original one?
All we can, again, it's just supposition. It's just kind of like, okay, there's plenty of things about the species we don't know about, so we just have to conjecture something into the fact that it has some way of knowing.
But again, where's the original one?
Which is more on the filmmakers to offer that instead of the audience trying to, that's okay, I guess so.
Right.
I guess that's what it is. Because we never had the situation before that someone had a queen in them, or really anything. We couldn't have had it in the first film because we only had the one alien. In the second film, anyone who comes in anywhere close proximity to an alien gets killed, and everyone else is just in the nest itself. So we don't really have a context for like anything to set up that thing to explain it.
I still want to know, where is the original alien that was in the ship? Did it die in the crash?
Well, is that what we had the face hugger, which implemented into the ox.
Right.
But then apparently there's one that goes into Ripley as well. So there were 2 eggs.
Right.
Planted how again? Again, it'd be a shorter line to things if it was all from the dropship, which the alien queen was in. But again, they go into the cryotubes inside the Sulaco, which is not the dropship. It's a separate area away from the docking port of the Sulaco, where the dropship is, where the alien queen stowed away on.
I don't like that the warden didn't get to... The warden spent all this time telling her she was crazy.
Right. And not say...
And then it kills the warden.
Have her say, I told you so, and him having to kind of dial it back and reassess the situation.
It should have grabbed a different prisoner in that moment.
Right.
For her to say, to her to get I told you so moment.
Yeah.
And then the warden could be immediately next.
Because we keep pulling away, because we got rid of Clemens. Now we got rid of the warden. So we keep pulling the hierarchy down of everyone in the prison.
Right.
So we had to get the person who's the leader of the inmates to be the person to step up, which, I mean, again, Dutton's phenomenal.
But there really needed to be a moment there where everyone learned that she was actually telling the truth.
Right. And by
everyone, I mean...
And that the warden dismissed her outright.
I mean, we could have just had 2 deaths, right? Like, grab random prisoner A.
Right.
And the warden go, oh my God, her to yell, I told you so.
Right.
And then it gets the warden. And now we're right here.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Why would a prison have any access to weapons? $10 miles square.
That's huge.
Sure. But you know
gigantic. I drive 10 miles to work. That's monstrous.
Now, 10 miles square.
10 miles in 4 directions.
Right. 10 miles square is 100 square miles.
Or am I wrong? I don't know what the hell I'm talking about no more.
I don't know. I assume that means 10 miles in each direction. Now, either way.
Square foot is foot in all 4 directions.
Correct.
So,
right.
Yes. I think we're correct.
Either way.
We're not math majors here, but we're getting there.
Either way, do you know how big that is not? Planet big.
Planet big.
You drive that to work. That is not the only distance on the planet Earth. And Earth is not even the biggest planet by a long shot.
Fucking Jupiter's out there, man. Swallow us whole.
God, there's got to be... I don't know if you've ever seen any of those like science videos where they talk about how many different like galaxies and planets and
Lord.
shit there are, and how there's trillions of planets in the world, in the universe.
Boggles the mind.
There have to be at least 100 Earths.
Sure.
With sustainable life form out there.
Right.
There has to be at least 100. And we're just one of them.
Yeah.
And we have the audacity to think that we're...
Well.
That's it.
Have you met the human race lately?
Well, that's all right. Fair. But I want to know what's going on one of those other ones. What kind of animals they got. Do they have humans? I don't know. Is there internet? Did somebody create an internet? No, probably not. Maybe. What if we're the lowest form of all the Earths out there?
I could believe that.
Just saying. It's so interesting. Again, these angles.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I've ruined this for you, but... Like, oh, we're going to bring this shot down. We're going to get closer and closer, but also lower and lower. Why? Like, what point of view is this? I'm so confused at the... Now, I don't... Obviously, this has got... It might not be Fincher's camera work, but he had to sign off on it.
Somebody signed off on it, let's say that.
Like, again, here I am on my knees looking up at all these people. And it's every shot.
It's almost like they want to show off the sets to a certain degree. Show off the scale. Because they built a gigantic, expansive sets on the whole thing.
Yeah, but you can do that.
Right.
Not from...
Just a wide shot or something, yeah, but... It is interesting that they keep going and keep using the same setups over and over again in a lot of these scenes. Then one scene to the next, in terms of like a dialogue sequence, isn't really using different techniques to elicit different types of things from the scene.
Well,
Even this scene looks completely different from everything else, so... Completely different lighting scheme, completely different color temperatures.
Right.
But it's like, most of the scenes don't... I mean, it all does look good. The production value is there. But in terms of what you're going after, is like...
And I'm not even saying...
Certain directors will go and take a scene and try to find what's the mood for this scene. What can I do different for this scene to evoke something else that I didn't use before? Or even try to take certain different scenes and try to string them together with certain similar qualities of them that are different from other scenes in this entire film.
I'm not even mad or, talking about the idea that the camera angles would, unlike the Tarantino thing where it was intentional.
Yeah.
And made sense.
Right.
Like, I don't even think that that's an issue with, like, I'm not looking for the angles to emphasize the storytelling technique. I just don't understand why.
You're trying to find what the motivation is between.
I don't understand
all of them.
why are we looking at all of them from the ground up? Like, it's not natural.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if I'm just an observer of these two characters talking,
right.
Why wouldn't I be on their level? Why am I laying on the floor watching it?
Well, this makes me remember something when my friend Eric, cinematographer and everything like that, we're working on...
Like, why am I watching this from this point of view? I'm not mad that this angle exists.
Right.
But if I'm just observing, if I'm in the room with these people,
sure,
I'm not laying on the floor.
Sure. But as I was saying, this.
Go ahead, Eric.
This kind of reminds me of a scene, a shoot Eric and I were doing at a certain point in time, where it was just a regular dialogue scene, seated at a table, master shot over the shoulders, reverse shot, and stuff like that.
Right. So now in that case, typically you do one like wide shot where you see both, and then you do it from over the shoulder of one and over the shoulder, so 3 times.
But there's
in a reasonable world.
There's a particular technique that Eric introduced into our thing, is that when the actors are talking to the other actor, to look at the eye of the actor closest to the camera, so you can get that almost that slightly off the camera viewpoint of getting a look into the actor's face or whatnot.
Okay.
They're almost talking to you. You can kind of peer right into it. So the fact we almost get like nothing that resembles something along those lines, whereas all either right close-up stuff, low angle stuff. So if it's low angle, you're not really directly in the face of the actor.
And I almost feel like it was done as a, like it feels artsy, for just for the sake of being artsy.
Sure.
And I feel like I don't feel like I'm part of this movie. Like I'm not an observer of the action because you've put me on the floor the whole time.
Right.
They blew this too early, right? Is the point of this?
Yeah.
Like this was an accident, whoopsie?
Right.
And again, every one of them is looking up. Must have been hot in that set, huh?
It's kind of interesting. I mean, these first 3 films were all shot in the UK for, I don't know if there was a particular reason for it or not. Really, I understand. Cameron had a lot of problems with the UK crews. I know just because they had the like stuff like Pinewood, they had the sound stages that supported or something like that. I don't know.
Well, I can't imagine that Pinewood is any maybe bigger or better than what we've come up with here over the last 30 years.
Yeah. I don't know if there's just a certain
historical value
for it. Because I think the DP is also British, so I don't know exactly.
Is Pinewood where they did all the Bond films?
I think so. That sounds about right.
Not all the Bond films, but
the
you know,
majority. Yeah, he's Alex Thompson's British cinematographer.
After all that, the alien's just walking around.
Yeah, and we're going to have to get into the effects used on the alien in these sequences, because it's been misconstrued as bad CGI, but it's not. It's a blue screen rod puppet. But it doesn't look good. It's never looked good. And this thing got nominated for an Oscar for visual effects, which I don't get at all. I mean, I don't know what the competition was that year, but...
Is that just almost like an legacy nomination, right?
I don't know. Hold on. I'm trying to dig up the Academy Awards from that year to see if I can...
Low angle. That would make sense because you're looking at the scene like...
We went up against Death Becomes Her, which won, and Batman Returns. That was it for visual effects that year.
Yeah, there's a caveat that based on the early voting, if X number of films don't, you can just have 3.
Yeah, I don't know. Bram Stoker's Dracula came out the same year, and the effects in that thing are fucking astounding. They're groundbreaking, and I don't know. They just decided, well, it's not like optical. It was all just in-camera stuff. So I don't know. I never really know what constitutes fucking visual effects. Like Lance Henriksen, the Bishop thing, it's an animatronic. It's not an optical effect. It's not a CGI thing. It's a practical piece of machinery. So where does it fall under awards category? It's not makeup and hairstyling. It's not visual effects.
Right. Practical effects don't really get...
Yeah, it's all been muddied over the years.
Did you see? I'm so excited. Did you see
the Oscar?
Breaking news. There's going to be a new category.
Yes.
Well, there's a new category next year for casting
directors.
Right. But there's another new one, I don't know if you heard this, that's coming, I think, for the 100th year.
Yes.
And that is going to be for stunt design, which we think is going to go to the stunt coordinator, like the highest guy.
It would sound right.
But stunt design, I feel like, is kind of
a quirky name for it.
Word salad for,
I know they've consulted with a lot of people as experts in the field to kind of figure out how they go about assessing and awarding it and stuff like that. So it's been a process.
I imagine that it's going to be, films like The Batman would get nominated for that car chase. Right. Because there's a lot of intricacy in designing that particular sequence. Right. So I assume that's what it is. Now, what I'm hoping doesn't happen with that is that we turn into the fun with computer movies getting turned into stunts when they're actually just visual effects.
Right.
CGI
bodies going through an explosion.
That's not a stunt.
I want practical people in the scene.
Right.
I want real deal stuff.
Right. Give me Tony Caesar.
You can have a green screen behind them, but if they're actually people doing the stunt, that's what we want.
Right. She's really aged here. Like, I don't know, makeup or the fact she has no hair or whatever, but...
Something. She does seem a little leaner in the face. Not in a bad way or whatnot, just the comment of how she progresses in appearance from film to film.
You know what I really like? One of my favorite things
Surely.
is that he keeps calling it a dragon.
That's nice. I like it because it adds into... The guy's unbalanced.
He's unbalanced, but what other word is there?
Right. What else are you going to...
Like, what a great word.
Right. And in fact, the guy's British, so it helps. It's like Camelot and shit.
Right. And then old guy goes on to Game of Thrones.
Fucking Americans, you don't know shit.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't know shit about shit.
Speaking of Game of Thrones, did you see that they cloned that direwolf?
I don't know nothing about this.
Oh, so they found some Jurassic Park kind of shit.
Okay.
They found they have some DNA from 10,000 years ago of direwolves.
Okay.
And they've cloned them. And there are two living...
See how long they live.
I don't know.
That fucking sheep they cloned back in the 90s didn't last long.
Oh, what was her name?
Dolly?
Was it Dolly? That's right. That sounds right. Anyway, so there are two... Look it up. Google it. There are two brand new direwolves that are the first of their kind in 10,000 years.
Boy, we've veered well off the track.
Well, we went dragon, and then I went back to the Game of Thrones guy, and then Game of Thrones has direwolves in it, so that... and Jurassic Park link, so... Great line. Yeah. How do you spell it?
I mean, Sigourney is still great in this whole thing. She keeps the history of the character within her performance. You feel everything that she's still gone through in these films through what she's doing here. Her strength, her resolve, her fear. Maybe you could say there's not enough grief from losing Hicks, losing Newt. But as clearly the filmmakers didn't have as much reverence for those characters.
Toxic waste disposal. Just put it up on a wall there. Yeah.
Slap a sign on it.
Where is their toxic waste? From what?
Jason takes Manhattan again. Just floods out with fucking toxic waste at midnight.
From where?
From where? That's the same thing we asked in that one. Where's what toxic waste?
Waste from what?
The Hudson River?
Why is it toxic? Will it turn these adult men into children?
Toxic Avenger. Oh, there it goes.
I like that. Sorry.
Yeah. Now, this entire subplot is cut out of the theatrical version. This is different for this cut of the film.
Yeah, but I like this one.
Yeah.
I like this guy.
Yeah.
Him and his dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to let out? You're letting out the dragon, you ass. Because he's crazy and thinks that he can talk to it or whatever. Is that the idea here?
Yeah.
God, we're only an hour and a half into this thing.
Ugh, that looked bad too.
So bad.
Yeah,
it also looked very tiny.
Yeah, just the compositing is just not good. It's like, I've seen the behind the scenes of them actually puppeteering. It's like it all looks, the puppeteering work looks good, but the fact that the compositing just looks so bad, it's like I'm just kind of baffled. Why? Was it just because they were up against the release date and they just could only put as much time into it as possible?
Oh, look at here. A low angle.
Uh-huh.
Why? It's the whole movie.
Again, why you could just do as an over-the-shoulder down onto him from her. It's like, you never, like I said, these dialogue scenes never really put the two actors in the same shot.
No,
typically.
Because it's all close-up.
Right. Or is this whole thing of, he's on one shot, she's on another shot. You don't marry them together in the same scene, so...
That way you can shoot them on different days or something.
Right, I was going to say that can be a telltale sign.
No, but here they are together.
Yeah.
And here again, we're set up shop on the floor. Why? I don't want to sit on the floor. I want to look...
Well, he's on the floor.
Yeah, but...
One time it makes sense, because the guy is laid out on the
Yeah, but it wasn't
slab.
from his point of view. He's dead.
The dead man's POV. That's an interesting way to go.
Like, all of this. This cameraman must have worn knee pads the whole fucking shoot.
Jesus, mother.
It's like they couldn't afford a Steadicam, so all they had was the dolly with it angled up, and they just wheeled it around.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of... I mean, they get the whole thing with the alien POV thing, but that's like some big fisheye lens rig thing. That's not really a Steadicam, because it swirls all around the entire cavern. I mean, Richard Edlund worked on the visual effects on the film. It's his company, Boss Film, and he's done great... He did 2010, the year we made Contact. He worked on Control Little China, Masters of the Universe. He did Die Hard, Ghost.
And what was his role in all of these?
It's his company doing the visual effects.
Okay.
All that rod puppet stuff, all the compositing, all the things that we're saying are bad effects are his work. And he got nominated for an Oscar for Best Visual Effects. I don't get it. It's not even the best work of his career anywhere. It's like, he's done exceedingly better stuff. Like, a lot of stuff he would do, as we mentioned, Big Trouble in Little China, he would shoot on like 65mm film, so you would have this high-resolution stock, so as you optically print it from generation to generation, it keeps the resolution on the whole thing, keeps the clarity. This just looks, the stuff we keep getting with the alien running around, it just like looks bad.
Why are we looking up? I realize that
this would work so much better if we got in right into their faces.
You are, I'm sure.
So those eye lines, saw the eyes piercing through the screen or whatnot.
I'm sorry to everyone who is tired of me complaining about this. But once I saw it, I can't unsee it.
I think they shot this on Super 35 millimeter.
Like this.
Yeah. But
what's happening?
But I was saying, I think they shot this on Super 35 millimeter because, like, the first film was shot anamorphically, and that looks fantastic. This one looks a lot, particularly softer, a little grainier. Because when we watched the Blu-ray for Alien, and the 4K looks even better than that. It looked pin sharp.
Of this?
Alien. The first film. When we watched that Blu-ray, you commented on the fact that it looked fantastic. And I said, this is one of the best looking Blu-rays I own.
And that was not a 4K?
No, that was a regular Blu-ray. I got the 4K and it looks even better.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. This doesn't look nearly as good as that because I think they shot Super 35 millimeter, had to blow it up and everything. It just looks a little soft and grainy to me. It's not I wouldn't say it's a reference quality Blu-ray.
I did purchase Aliens, the Cameron film, on 4K.
All right.
I've not yet watched it, but I've heard mixed reviews.
Yeah.
I do not have the first Alien on 4K. There was some deal, and I picked it up as part of a sale.
It'll go on sale again.
Part one?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Ridley is one, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's like 17 or 18 bucks right now, which is not bad. I don't know, it's one of those like luxury things.
Around, yeah.
Upgrading, like...
Yeah,
it's
worth it.
I go on a kick every year where I upgrade some of my old Oscar films.
Sure,
and
Criterion has a sale every year.
Well, even just upgrading to Blu-ray from
an old DVD.
Which some of them I just picked up. It's been out for a little bit of Paramount Presents of The Greatest Show on Earth, 1952, which is just a Blu-ray.
Sure,
but
restoration, all that work.
It's so much like the upgrade is incredible. And I also picked up recently, and I haven't watched it yet. They put on Blu-ray. They redid the very first Best Picture,
Wings
from 1927, and I'm so excited to see what that looks like on Blu-ray. Anyway, so I recently went on an upgrade splurge, and haven't been splurging on other titles.
Surely.
You got a baby. Gender reveal party coming up. Here we go. What year was this? 92?
92.
They didn't have gender reveal parties back then. Nobody even knew what the fuck that was. Is there anybody that even is surprised anymore? Like, isn't it pretty rare that people even go, we're going to not know until that day?
I don't know. People are spoiled these days. No, we got high angle.
Right.
Change it up.
Well, at least that felt different. It felt new and fresh. He's got a nice bright red axe as opposed to that silver one we saw in the last movie. American.
The lighting sounds like it's shot by someone else. The lighting's a lot different. I mean, saw a few low angles here and there, but
like this the overhead shot. Now that it's different than everything else, we can actually interpret it a little bit. You know, it feels like an eavesdropper on their secret meeting or whatever. Like, ooh, that creates emotion.
Right.
Oh, Lawrence of Arabia over there. I'm still on my Oscar kick, sorry.
I mean, to comment on something else, I mean, in terms of like half an hour ago, we were talking about the whole thing like, okay, Clemens gets killed, Warren gets killed. Now it feels like they weren't even in the story to begin with. Like, once they're gone, they're not even talked about anymore.
Right.
Same thing with Newton Hicks. Like, once they're not in the story, why mention them at all?
The close-ups on Charles Dutton look great.
And, those are nice and sharp, too.
And some of these other ones are really shit.
Yeah. Feels like when they got the hot light and the contrast, it really kind of brings out more detail, but other stuff just looks kind of flat.
Oof.
Even that looks like it's something from like fucking 1974. That doesn't look like it's a year after Terminator 2.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre was 74, right? The original one?
Yeah.
And that one looks 10 times better than anything that we just saw right there. Everything in that movie is well done compared to that. I know you're not high on it, like most of America, but... Which is the same plot that we've been dealing with now for 3 films. At least we've got some moving along of the story here.
Yeah.
I don't know why it took an hour and 40 minutes to find out that she's got a kid. Or, not a kid, but you know what I mean.
The embryo inside her, the chest burster. I'm kind of wondering whether or not it'd been better if it got revealed like way sooner. Maybe like almost like after. I mean, because when she's talking to Bishop, doesn't Bishop confirm that there was an egg on the ship, right?
Right. Yes.
And then it's like 45 minutes before she even goes in and gets examined. Because she already knows that it wasn't Newt.
I could make a case that 20 minutes into the movie, when Newt...
Clemens is...
When they autopsy Newt, and it's clean, she said, why wouldn't she say, scan me?
Yeah, Clemens. Do an examination.
Right.
I mean, you think that would have been something straight out to begin with, that he would do a full workup on her. I mean, obviously they don't have much technology here to work with, but at least he could do something to detail something about it, find something, a blood test, something. He's got to leave some sort of trace of his existence inside the host.
Medevac team expected in 2 hours. You're telling me they can just travel interplanetary?
Everything else takes weeks. Like from Earth to LV-426 in the second film, they were, weeks in hypersleep. Now they're here in like a day. And again, this thing, from what we can tell, this doesn't take place that much longer after the events of Aliens. A couple weeks, maybe. They probably didn't float out that far.
Yeah.
And the fact that they do say that this thing's on kind of the ass end of space, it's some remote penal colony that everyone's kind of half forgotten about. Like, this ain't fucking Pluto, or it's in the solar system of Earth. This is way out there. I just feel like it would, wherever it is, the fact that even the first film, when they wake up saying like, we woke up way ahead of schedule,
Would it not...
Because of the beacon and everything.
Would it not have made more sense, now that I'm brainstorming,
right,
for, instead of this to be a planet, what if it was just a prison ship that orbits Earth?
Something, maybe.
I don't know. I don't know how they would have crashed onto there.
There's so many kind of vagaries, because, like, people keep coming up like, Aliens takes place this year. How do you know that? There's nothing in the film that denotes a date. How am I figuring out when? I don't know when anything takes place, or where the star maps are. I don't know. I don't really know a context for anything. It's one of those ambiguities about the entire franchise. Like, I don't know exactly how far this is from here. They just tell me it takes this long to get from here to here.
Right.
And I don't know exactly what year anything takes place in, because nothing is explicitly stated about years or dates in the entire franchise that say how much time has passed since this event to this event in the film, but I really like that some of the film exactly where the hard evidence is. Tell me what years each one of these films takes place in, because I haven't seen. I've watched these films plenty of times. I've never seen a date pop up anywhere.
I kind of thought that the original one took place in present day, but I don't remember why I thought that.
Apparently, it supposedly takes place in the early 22nd century. But I don't know how anyone figured that one out. Which, I mean, for one, I applaud that, because when you see, like, release a film in the 80s saying, like, oh, it takes place in 2023, like, I've gotten past that point in the cycle of life. It don't look like that now, so you kind of badly date yourself by saying, oh, it seems like it's far enough, but once you get to that day, it's like, now you look antiquated.
Right.
So, being more ambiguous
Oh my
about
God, with the
dates.
Bugs. Can we stop with the bugs?
Yeah.
I don't like bugs.
Yeah. But yeah, like RoboCop doesn't really state a date, as far as I know. So it can be kind of nebulous, and you can kind of let it shift along the timeline as you move forward.
What'd she do? Imagine that? Xenomorph?
I'm guessing? Playing tricks on her?
Oh, hi.
There it is.
Although it just looks like somebody in a rubber suit.
That can be a thing, yeah. It really just depends on how you light it.
Well, here we're going to shoot from the ground again. An hour ago. Gah. For us, that was only
5 seconds ago.
Yeah, God. What were you doing for the last hour then?
All right.
How do you know that? Well, there's some questions that we'd all like answers to. I was violated? I guess so.
I can get the thematic context, what they're going for
Right.
there. It is a little heavy-handed using that dialogue.
Especially since nobody even knows how it got into the vessel.
Right. And also, an hour ago we had the rape squad going on, and now you're going to use the word violated.
Right.
I mean, how they're shooting this thing is good.
Well, yeah,
They've got
because
him on
it's
the eye
straight
line.
on.
They've got him on the eye lines.
Like, this is how
Yeah.
it should look
Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah. Because you want to get into the...
And
You
not
don't have
like
to have
this.
a close-up, but at least if you're on that plane with the actor, they can act towards the camera. They can project
Like, what is
the
this?
emotions that they're feeling with the other actor in the scene towards the camera. If you're shooting off axis, you can lose a lot of that projection of...
Like, that looks cool,
everything.
I guess, but...
And it's a little Christ-esque in a way.
Oh, never mind. Fuck that.
Just, yeah.
Christ-esque.
Yeah.
Oh, there's an adjective I don't care for.
So we just did a film where one of the actors played Christ. Last Temptation of Christ with Defoe.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he was doing back in the 80s.
I missed that one.
That's what he was doing in 87. Getting strung up by Scorsese.
Yeah, and then he went on to do Mississippi Burning with Gene Hackman.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
And he does Antichrist with Lars von Trier, which I don't think I want to touch that one.
I tell you what, Lars von Trier makes some weird shit. And
someone pays to let him make it.
I have seen several of his weird shit movies, and I didn't hate them. Even though I felt a little naughty watching them.
I'm not going to broadcast this on social media, but I don't know.
Right.
They put this on my letterbox or anything, but I'm fine. It's a nice crane shot, I guess.
Well, yeah, because we're getting
a wide
view of everyone in the
area, yeah.
And I bet we're going to end up on the floor.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Hey, a Coca-Cola. I don't know where you got those from, but cheers, my friend.
You can get no flamethrowers, no batteries, no nothing, but you can get a Coke.
Well, there was a cigarette machine. Who's to say there wasn't a Coca-Cola machine?
It might suck, but you can get a Coke and it's smoke.
Right. Coke and a Smoke is the name of my next album. Can something just happen, please? I'm antsy.
I mean, yeah, the first film is a horror film. The second film is an action film. This one's a drama. And so, I mean, this thing probably still made decent money. There's no way it didn't, but...
Are you sure?
Decent money, about $180 billion.
On what budget?
60.
So it tripled.
It's decent. It's a decent turnaround.
Well,
it's not what they're wanting from the whole thing, by no chance whatsoever. It's a... Bring up. Find the freaking box office takes.
Even if it was $60 million to make, let's say you made $120 to recoup all your costs and whatever, that's still $60 million profit.
Right.
Like, I don't know about you, but if I will put in X amount of dollars and get $60 million back, I'll take it.
So, in 1986 dollars, Aliens cost $18.5 million, brought back $180 million. So it made the same, just on paper, the same amount of money, but 6 years going along, and the film costs like 2 or 3 times as much as the last film.
Well, yeah, you said 18 and 180, that's a 10-time return.
Right.
This was only a 3-time return.
Yeah. So.
Which...
I'm sure they're probably looking for a $250 million take or something off of this thing based on the hype and everything like that. They were trying to build the marketing. I'm probably sure they were at least looking for 200 plus, if not way more than that off of this. But
$200 million movies weren't that common in 1992, though.
Probably not, but I'm sure they were trying to figure if we made 180 off the last film in 86, we could pump that up and get more this time with a bigger marketing campaign with bigger fervor. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel like that type of film. It's not a... I mean, this was released... Why was this thing... May of 92. This is Memorial Day weekend film. This is a year later. Jurassic Park has that type of release.
Jurassic Park is 10 times better of a movie than this.
Right. That's a summer blockbuster. This feels like you release this in like November or something as a low key
February.
Yeah, something an off season or whatnot release.
But
And again, it's not a film. I mean, you can see the money on screen, but it doesn't feel like a film that would cost almost as much as T2 did a year before this. T2 cost $100 million.
Wow.
This one's just about 20% less than what that film cost. And T2, I think it made all over the place, like $500 million worldwide.
Yeah, eventually, yeah. Well, and I was going to say, it's kind of like that discussion we had back during when the Saw movie run that we were on.
Right.
Where, if I give you $10
right.
and you give me $100 in
right.
return,
great.
I'm going to say, let's do it again.
Yeah.
And on the next one, I give you $10 and you only give me $80 back. Well, I'm going to go, okay, let's run it back again.
We haven't the well hasn't run dry yet.
Until you tell me that I give you $10 and you've just given me $10 back.
It's like,
now we've broken even.
Yeah, there's no point to it anymore.
So they've profited $60 million at least on this, 60 to 80.
Yeah.
So why not run it again and make a fourth one?
Yeah.
Which they did, and it did terrible.
That took, another 5 years, I think it was, Resurrection.
97, 98?
Somewhere around that range. 97, so November of 97, so almost 5.5 years later. Pretty sure it was November.
It's funny, I do not have a memory of Alien Resurrection in the movie theater, even though I was there.
Mm. Yeah. Resurrection was a November 97 release, so they moved it away from by the late 90s, the summer blockbuster crowd it's too thick for something like that. November's a little more breathing room.
Well, you're also getting into Oscar territory.
Right. So there's a different demographic of films coming out around you.
Right. Although that also means that movies like this are getting swallowed up by,
right,
the other fare.
Yeah, and that looks awful.
Yeah, it does.
That looks really, really awful.
Okay, here's a low angle I can get behind because it's point of view of the alien.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know, maybe that was a steady cam. I don't know.
I'm sure there's some of it in here, but a lot of it feels like it's crane shots and static shots and dollies.
Nobody knows what's going on. But now this shouldn't be a low angle because I assume that's alien point of view.
Yeah, that breaks it a little bit. And again, I was mentioning earlier, it's like, okay, when you're, even if you want to call this a body count film in any time, when you're building up, when you have a large cast, when there's a lot of people who are meant to be disposable, again, I barely know one character from another in this whole thing. I couldn't tell you most of their names, what they have anything to do with the entire makeup of the narrative here. They are just a lot of bodies just set up to be killed.
It's Jason X. It's
right.
Scream, whatever.
Final Destination 4.
Yeah,
it just doesn't matter, and that adds to the kind of the blasé nature a lot of people had with the film, going along from the aesthetics into a cast of a lot of characters who don't have any distinct qualities. Because again, we go back to the first two films; they were very distinct characters. Tom Scared, Yaphet Kotto, Harry Dean Stanton, all those people. Second one, Bill Paxton and everyone else in the whole film, whatnot. All very distinct, very easily identifiable characters. This one, everyone's kind of blending into the murky backgrounds of the film. It's only the people who are actually given anything like Dutton and Dance and either. Paul Saltzway is well underutilized in the whole film. He's a great actor, but they give him maybe one or two pieces of dialogue that are worth anything.
Even Sigourney Weaver looks like everyone else.
Right.
They didn't even make her stand out.
Right.
Dutton stands out because he's black. Let's call
spade a spade, yeah.
Well, I mean, that might have been the choice of words I would use for that.
Let's just call it plain as day.
Yeah.
We're talking about aesthetics. That's an aesthetic.
Why is the alien green?
Right. Again, it's. I mean, the black levels are shit. I mean, it
almost looks like an unfinished effect, right?
Right.
Why is he upside down?
It's almost like it's got like part of the blue screen bleed on it.
Yeah.
Like the blue screen reflecting onto the rod puppet, and they haven't photographed it the right way. It's like, I don't know what happened with that. Again, I don't know if it was a rush job. Because, like I said, they announced a release date before they had the script finished. They start building sets before the script is finished. And once they get to the set, everyone's having tensions between the director and the producers and the studio. And nothing's going the right way for anyone involved in the entire thing. And they shoot a bunch of stuff and then chop out like half an hour worth of stuff. There's probably even more stuff beyond that got chopped out. Concepts get changed from an ox to a dog. Like, there's a lot of stuff just second-guessing everything through the entire production. And
meanwhile, David Fincher's pulling his hair out because he's getting...
Sulking on set and getting... The only reason it's not Alan Smith because it's your first gig. If you pull that on the studio on your first directorial effort, you're not getting another job.
Right.
Because he works with he makes, regardless of Fight Club and stuff, he makes Fight Club with 20th Century Fox, like 7 years later. So, I don't know if this changed the guard or whatnot, but it's just a fact. You're not doing an Alan Smithy on this thing.
Right.
You're just not. That's career suicide for a first-time directorial feature.
Sorry,
So you had to take the hit for it all. And take the criticism. Before anyone really knew what the hell happened with the film behind the scenes.
I just want the camera to not look like that. Not that, but...
Yeah, and not like
this.
Not like that either. Again, I mean, that... going back to the effects stuff, like... The only reason we have to use so many of the visual effects is the fact that they have this entire version of the alien that moves that fast. You couldn't have a guy in a suit move that fast, like it's a Puma or something.
Unless you sped it up, yeah,
And then that could be dodgy as well. And then
right.
Or have to do a bunch of wire work where it's kind of like light on its feet and you just kind of zoom. I don't know. So a lot of dodgy elements in that regard.
Yeah, I don't get it. Why is it green like that?
Yeah.
Like it's unfinished.
Yeah.
Like in there, you can see that it looks like a tail.
Yeah, because they're just wagging the tail across the... They're only showing pieces of it. When they have to show the whole thing in motion, it just turns into this god-awful piece of optical effects work. I mean, we don't see that much of it in the suit, is the thing.
No.
And the
like
thing,
that one looked okay.
Yeah.
I'm just so over these on-the-ground shots. And I'm, again, I will apologize for ruining everyone's watching experience, because I just won't shut up about it, but it's not even good. And there's no reason for them all to be that way. The whole movie is shot from below. Can't even tell what's going on there, you know? And I guess I get the ceiling walking thing, but I guess.
Right.
I mean, it's fine.
But again...
It's... Oh, shit.
It's the disposable bodies situations. Like... We've gone about... We've mentioned time again over the years, the fact that if I don't really know the character, if I don't really care about the character, why do I care that a monster's chasing him?
Right. Other than you want to see how this person's going to die.
And that's where the pivot shifts from a film that does a good job of developing story and characters and investing in what's happening to just like, I just want to see the gore.
Meanwhile, this is lit very nicely.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Like Clue.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. One of us wasn't there. No? No.
And this place is full of secret passages. Like, I don't know where any of this shit is going. Is it let out
the cook!
Does it lead out to the conservatory? I don't know. There's 10 square miles of this place. I don't feel like we've explored freaking 2 square miles of this joint.
Oh, boy. Let's hit it with sparklers until we're... Can't even tell what's going on there.
And again, you lose a lot of the context having such tight shots here.
Right, it's too chaotic, too up close, you don't know what's going on.
Right.
It's all from below. I'd love the occasional overhead shot or something.
Yeah, just a wide shot.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's very... Like, it's too much.
I mean, again, a lot of stuff you'll say about, like, it doesn't really feel like horror.
No.
Because it kind of loses the simplicity of the suspense. Like, you look at the climax of the first film. Yeah, there's a lot of sounds, and a lot of visuals, and a lot of kind of stuff going on with, like, the klaxons and all the steam and the smoke and whatnot, but it's all very clear. You can see exactly what's happening every step of the way. And you get very specific shots structuring the sequence to amplify when there is more tension and to see the wider scope of the environment to understand where things are going, how to get the geography going, where we're going and where we've been, stuff like that. Very specific things, how you want to structure a sequence to let the audience have context, understand what is happening and what the goals are and all that type of stuff. I mean, by no, we don't have any kind of geography of what leads to what in this entire structure.
Right.
And because everything looks the same, there's not really a discernible sensibility about what leads to what.
Right. We don't even have any landmarks of...
Right. Like, when we talked about Die Hard, when he's up on the entire roof and everything, and the posters of the naked ladies.
Right.
It's a visual landmark that when he goes back to both for the audience and when McClane goes back through and sees
it's
like
a touchstone, right?
Touchstone where, okay, I know this is where I was. I can figure out where I'm going next, and that lets the audience understand where the story is going, where it's moving in the space. If you employed a certain differing quality production design for different areas, like even in the first film, when Harry Dean Stanton's going through the entire place and he goes into that sort of like moist docking chamber, it's very much different lighting, it's different color scheme altogether.
Yeah, it feels like a different part of the ship, right?
So it creates a different vibe overall that feels like it's detached from other parts of the ship. That could aid in discerning geography. It's all right. If you're chasing it around and suddenly you're in a different part of it that's been designed differently, whether it's different kind of architecture, different kind of color schemes, whatnot, and you kept going back to that, that would inform the audience, hey, this is where we are in relation to this.
And I don't know what those tunnels that we just saw, running on the ceiling and whatever.
Right.
Like, maybe not tunnels, but those small corridors. Like, I don't understand what they're for, where they are.
Right.
Why do they exist?
Perfect. Why is this leadworks 10 miles square when there's only just this one little place where they pour the lead into? What's the whole rest of the facility for? Even if there was like a map at one point in time saying, this is the area that we're working with, these are the corridors, this is the map of where we have to drive the beast towards, and here's the pitfalls and the places we don't want to end up in. It's almost like a video game map.
Right.
Figure out where the dead ends are and where the things are going to get into trouble.
Get somebody with a goddamn blueprint on a desk somewhere.
Right. That's
just
really
for
30
seconds, yeah.
And again, I don't know if that's lack of forethought from the filmmakers. I don't know if that's, again, a problem of them putting themselves into a corner, saying, we got to get it done by this date. So we don't have time to think about all the little finessing things that would help make the film more coherent in all these sequences.
I don't really understand that, but okay.
Well, it got poured with the lead, and then it started crusting over it, and so they poured the cold water on it to shatter the hot lead.
Is that how that works?
I guess so.
I don't know about that, but okay. Whatever you say.
It's steaming hot lead, and then you pour the cold on it. It should.
We're 130 minutes in. I'll buy anything at this point. Like, everything's got that orangey tone.
Right.
What happened to the Met team? Oh, here they are.
Yeah.
Well, they're in trouble because the computer said that permission was denied to kill that thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Wait a minute, you designed the Bishop android to look exactly like you would look 100 years in the future? Or 70 years in the future? Oh, I guess
no, that was contemporary with it.
That was the one from Aliens, not the first one. Okay.
But how do they know that she and Bishop are friendly at all? Unless you watch the events of the first film, there's no way they would have known that. That's just supposition because they were on the same ship together, so that means they were friends. The company wouldn't know anything about exactly what happened between these characters, or even to know that they had any relationship at all. Because when she first meets Bishop on the Sulaco, she has a bad reaction because, like, I don't want a droid on this mission. The last one I had went freako on me and almost killed us. So it feels more like a fan service moment to a degree. I mean, Lance is great. I'll always love Lance. He's great in the scene, but from the context they're giving, like, I'm here to be like a ambassador to you. I'm trying to curry favor because, we know that you and Bishop were friends. Well, what if they weren't friends and you didn't know anything about it? Well, if they were adversarial and something happened between them, and like they would go upside down on them. So it's just like they know the context of the first film because they watched the first film. It was the writers,
right?
And it gets all kind of bosh. I mean, the fact is, the Alien franchise now has like so many fucking timelines now. It's ridiculous because Alien vs. Predator films, this Ridley Scott prequel stuff, it's all kind of jumbled it all up because Lance comes back in AVP, which is set in contempt now times, as the founder of the Weyland-Yutani Company. So you're saying that one has an ancestor that looks exactly like him, like 100 years later, who designs an android that looks exactly like him, which looks exactly like his great-grandfather.
Yeah, that's a little...
So that was fancy. Lance is so good in that film, but the contrivances continue very much along those lines. And the fact is, why are they sending a guy who knows all about androids and robotics on a mission to get a
live
bioorganic
alien specimen?
It doesn't jibe at all.
Well, because he's a familiar face, and so we need something for the audience to go, oh.
Right, yeah, it's a little... It doesn't quite...
What we've done here is
the same thing with the egg showing up on the freaking ship.
Right, and with all the Saw movies and all the everything where you get to the end and they give you this little nugget.
Right.
To make the audience go, oh, and then
fuck off.
And then like, oh, I liked that because remember, and they do the same thing with like in the Annabelle and the Nun and all that.
Fucking Warren show up or some shit the last second.
Yeah. And you go, oh, I get it now.
It's a weak sauce.
And Ripley commits suicide.
And the one thing they changed for this one is that the fact they don't have the chest burster come out when she's falling in. Which some people, again, were very upset that they had that happen in the theatrical cut, just because...
I didn't remember that.
Yeah. Just because people got upset, because...
I still don't...
They were already upset at it enough as it was.
How many days...
Of the film.
How many days has it been since she crashed?
That's the thing.
And why didn't this thing...
It feels like it's been at least 3 days.
And why didn't the thing burst out of her already?
Right, because Kane in the first film burst out the next day.
Yeah.
After he got implanted, it got burst out the next day.
The next morning,
within like an hour of him waking up.
Right.
Yeah. So, a lot of these gestation times just get wonked all over the place on the entire franchise. Like, there's no consistency at all. People conjecture, because it's a Queen one, maybe it takes longer. It's like, that's all the fans just having to plug up the holes of the plot because the writers didn't write it well enough. That's the same thing again with the egg getting up on the entire ship. The filmmakers don't want to explain it, so we have to try to explain it to make it ourselves feel good about everything. So... It's a film put together by a committee that nobody on the committee could agree on what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, like I said, I like the tone of the film. I like the fact that it feels... I like the somber quality of the film, because it feels like the fatalist mentality of the film as it goes along. If you're going to close out as a trilogy, it feels like a good tone to approach it with. That's different from the first two films. A lot of stuff in the film doesn't quite add up altogether. It's like, it's easy to shoot holes in it.
Yeah, this is a first draft movie again.
It's a creaking monster that has got kind of dingly parts on it.
Well, at least the credits aren't shot from a low angle.
Like the Star Wars crawl going back.
Right. That's what I expect. That's what I expected. So, I don't know. I'm not a fan.
Okay. Again, I mean, there continues to be debate to this day about the entire film, and it's, even for me, it's kind of an acquired taste to a certain degree. I probably didn't love it the first time. I just probably still don't love it. There are elements of it that I do enjoy. I mean, there's plenty of performances that are very good in the entire thing. There's ideas in the thing that are good. There's qualities of the thing, but it feels like there's, like you said, it needs another run-through.
At least one.
One or two run-throughs to polish up the ideas and focus it down and try to find ways where it fits better with the expectations of what you're trying to market it as. They're trying to market it as, again, it's aliens with another aesthetic. It's fast-paced, it's thrilling, there's a bunch of... They even use James Horner's music from Aliens in the trailer for this thing, that pounding... The Q is used in like 1,000 trailers in the 90s, so everyone has heard it. But it's the same one they used in the climax and everything like that, when the thing's getting sucked out the airlock and everything like that. Just trying to hit those buttons as strong as possible, because whether or not they think the film is worthwhile, they're trying to pump it up to get that big opening weekend. Because the opening weekend, doesn't matter how much it falls off, we get enough in that first weekend before everyone knows what they're being served.
Well, sure, but also in '92 we were not in that the era where by Friday it's dead if it doesn't perform. Like in today,
especially when you're opening on like Memorial Day weekend, you've got a long weekend there too to build up and
in today's day and age,
a little bit into the summer month, June or so.
As we record this today, it is a Friday.
Yeah,
and the new movies that open today, we'll know by Sunday what their total lifetime is going to be, based on extrapolation.
Yeah.
And that just wasn't the case then.
You know, that thing, it says the Super 35mm on special effects, and I can't see it.
No.
I don't know where the quality went on the visual effects of the thing. It's just really, really not worth an Oscar nomination at all. I don't care what else put out that year. It's not worth it. Even just a nomination, not even talking about a win, which it did win, but I don't even think it should have been in the conversation. I mean, I have to go through the whole list of 92 to figure out what else was a special effects feature that year. But
yeah, I can't.
I can't say it's that. I mean, against Batman Returns and Death Becomes Her was a big special effects Zemeckis film.
Right.
So
and that's fine.
Deserved it. And Batman Returns has good visual effects. And that one started using digital effects work.
Right.
And it looked pretty good for the most part. Well, way better than this.
Well, it certainly wasn't Unforgiven with Gene Hackman and Clint Eastwood.
Morgan, Freeman.
yeah. We all kind of thought that was going to be the Morgan Freeman Oscar, but no. And but Hackman got one.
Deservedly so, yeah.
I guess Eastwood did too for I think he did. I don't know if he won the directing. He probably did, but I feel like he was a producer on it. So I feel like
either way, one best picture.
Best
picture. There's no doubt whatsoever.
So he got flowers for that, no matter what. I don't think that. I feel like he didn't win, but maybe I'm wrong.
I'm going to pull it up.
All right,
I've still got it here.
Okay.
Yeah, he won director, best picture.
Was he a producer on it for best picture?
Lone person listed as producer.
Oh, so he won 2 that night.
Yeah, he won big.
Well, anyway, that certainly wasn't going to be the best visual effects.
Oh, no, it's not a visual effects film whatsoever, but we're too far at the end of this thing to start
researching.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready for a nap.
Maybe next time we get around to something from 92. So.
Yeah, I don't know. But for anyone that celebrates Alien Day...
Yes, thanks for joining us, even if it seemed a bit all...
Right.
Belabored at points.
And they only get worse from here.
Resurrection, goddamn.
No.
Ugh.
No. We're
not racing to get to.
We've decided that nothing is ever off the table anymore.
Right.
So see you next month for that.
Yeah. Or something we thought we'd never ever do.
Yeah, hell freezes over. See you in a couple of weeks.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Take care. Bye-bye.